Let's move on to this. This is a Sports Illustrated cover. I can't believe it. From 2014. Look what they said there on the cover. Your 2017 World Series champs. Well, that's this season. This article was published because people were seeing how bad the Astros were in 2012, 13, and 14. But they were also seeing how good of draft picks they were awarded and how good of draft picks they were making. And you can see how this Astros team has certainly evolved. They joined the AL West back in 2013. Back then, we said, all right, they're going to lose so many games. They're going to hand out so many free wins to teams. They will help decide who wins the West because of how bad they were. But look what they've done since then, from 50 wins to 70 to 86. Took a little bit of a step back last season, but already 52 wins right now, which is the most in all of Major League Baseball. So, Bipster, they have found a formula, no doubt.
Yes, they have, and I think Sports Illustrated is right on point. I mean, they're looking like Nostradamus here when they make this prediction.
This could be their year.
Yeah, you were talking about a team that was very young, coming from the minor leagues together with a bunch of talent, and all they had to do was come to the big leagues ready, get their feet wet, understand what the big leagues are like, play a 162-game season, a few years to figure out what type of player they are. Because after 3 years, you realize they're big leaguers or they're going back to the minor leagues, or they may not even be in baseball or traded somewhere else. But these guys are the nucleus of what they consider to be what's great on the horizon. And from what I see, when you look at the eye test, they're right on point.
And I think, Joe, about how the Astros were built, it's a team that hasn't been wheeling and dealing a lot of trades. I'm talking about big, established veteran players. This is all a homegrown process for this team.
Yeah, very much so. And they had a couple, they're at the bottom of the barrel in the standings, so they got a couple of number one picks back to back, and they've scored with a lot of their high draft picks. So you're right. And they have done it right. It's a team, a group of guys that a lot of them come up together. They know each other well, kind of like this A's group coming up right now. And they took their lumps for a few years, but now they're seeing they're coming out on the other end of it, and it's all paying off for them.
You're right about the A's and Astros. They do have that in common. Everybody excited about the A's young players right now. You just kind of have to look at the Astros and say, fast forward 3 years from now, this is what you hope the A's pan out to be. But it is an interesting comparison as we show you here the 40-man roster makeup for each team as it currently sits. So homegrown players, those are guys that have been drafted and produced by the organization. 14 for the A's, 16 for Houston. Free agents, you can see each team with 8. That's not a really high number. 15 and 13 via trade. You do have to acquire some of your players that way, and only a handful of players for each team picked up off waivers. It's interesting, Bip, because the A's were the originators of Moneyball. They learned how to produce the right players and draft them, scout them, and get them up to the major league level. The Astros kind of took a page out of that book, and it seems like the A's are now taking a page back out of the Astros book, which is originally their own book.
Yeah, right. Now what they have to do, something that the Astros are doing, and that's keeping their players.
Right.
Signing these players to multi-year deals because they are young and they're going to go through some things. The Astros have gone through it. Now it's on the A's to go through it. They're going to have to go through a couple years of playing well, having some adversities, feeling some pressure to win, not coming through, but then all of a sudden at the end breaking through, showing everyone they have the talent to go forward.
I think Bip makes a great point, Joe. I'm just wondering how likely you think it is. Keep the players that you're developing right now. You look at a Chapman, a Healy, a Brugman, even a Gossett coming up 3 starts. I mean, if you just hang on to these players, is it as simple as that? Just hanging on to this group?
I think so. I think you're hearing a lot of talk from A's management about looking forward. We want to retain some of these people, especially if we get in a new ballpark. We start creating more revenue. We'll be able to re-sign some of these guys. It's all about evaluating the next few years. I think A's fans would be happy. Just keep 1 or 2 of these guys right now. That would be more than they've seen, right? Identify a couple of the real cornerstone players and just retain those guys. Just give fans somebody they can rally around and kind of just get to know moving forward for several years.